I tell you from experience that wealth does not begin in the world of money. It does not begin in the marketplace, in opportunity, or in the approval of others. Wealth begins within the human imagination, for imagination is the creative power of the universe. Most people spend their lives attempting to change the outer world without realizing that the outer world is only a mirror, reflecting the state of their inner being. They work harder, search for better strategies, or chase opportunities, believing that money is something that must be pursued. But I discovered something far more powerful. Money follows consciousness. If a person holds within themselves the identity of poverty, lack will appear in endless forms. But if one assumes the feeling of abundance, wealth will come to meet that assumption in ways that seem almost magical. You must understand this clearly. The world does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are conscious of being. If you say, "I want wealth," yet feel uncertain, worried, or undeserving, you are not occupying the state of wealth, and therefore the outer world faithfully reflects that state. But the moment you assume the feeling of already being wealthy, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your thinking changes, your reactions change, opportunities begin to reveal themselves, not because the world suddenly changed, but because you did. Within you exists the ability to step into any state of being. Wealth is simply one of those states. It is not reserved for a special class of people. It is not given only to the fortunate. It is a state of consciousness available to anyone who dares to assume it. The secret to building wealth is not found in endless labor or anxious striving. It is found in becoming inwardly what you wish to experience outwardly. When you change your concept of yourself, the world must rearrange itself to reflect that change. This is law. Now let us go deeper. If wealth is a state of consciousness, then the question becomes this: who are you within yourself? Do you see yourself as someone who struggles with money? Do you see yourself as someone who must constantly worry about bills? Do you see wealth as something distant or difficult? If you do, then you are occupying the state of lack. But wealth begins the moment you adopt a new identity. A wealthy person does not merely possess money. They possess a consciousness of abundance. They expect prosperity. They move through life with a quiet certainty that things will work in their favor. They do not panic when circumstances seem difficult, because their inner identity remains unchanged. You must learn to adopt that same inner identity. Do not wait for money to appear before you feel wealthy. That is the mistake of the world. You must feel wealthy first. Sit quietly and ask yourself, if I were already financially secure, how would I feel? How would I think? How would I carry myself? You would feel relaxed, confident, free. And once you discover that feeling, you must return to it again and again. When you wake in the morning, assume it. When you walk through your day, carry it. When doubts appear, remind yourself of the identity you have chosen. For consciousness is the only reality, and the identity you accept as true will inevitably express itself in your world. The wealthy individual does not beg life for prosperity. They expect it. And expectation is a powerful creative force. There is a simple practice I have taught for many years, and it is this: imagine the end. If you desire wealth, do not imagine the process of becoming wealthy. Imagine that you already are. Close your eyes and construct a scene that would naturally occur if you were financially abundant. Perhaps you see yourself reviewing an investment account filled with more than enough. Perhaps you imagine a friend congratulating you on your success. Perhaps you imagine yourself living with ease, knowing every need is met. Whatever the scene may be, it must imply that your desire is already fulfilled. Then bring that scene to life in imagination. Feel it, hear the voices, experience the satisfaction and relief of already having what you once desired. Repeat this act frequently, especially before sleep, when the mind becomes quiet and receptive. You will find that these imagined experiences begin to feel natural, and when they feel natural, they become part of your consciousness. Once that happens, the outer world must reflect them. The bridge of events will unfold in ways you could never have planned. Opportunities will arise, ideas will appear, people will enter your life. But remember this: you are not forcing these events, you are allowing them, for imagination has already planted the seed. Now I must warn you about something that stops many people from experiencing wealth. It is the habit of doubting their own creative power. You may begin this practice and still find that your outer world looks exactly the same. Bills may still arrive, circumstances may still seem unchanged, and at that moment you will be tempted to abandon your new state of consciousness. But that would be a mistake. The outer world is always delayed. It reflects past assumptions. What you see today is the echo of what you once believed. Therefore, do not judge your new state by present appearances, Persist in the assumption of wealth. Return again and again to the feeling of financial freedom. Refuse to entertain thoughts of limitation. If the mind says this is impossible, gently replace that thought with your chosen identity. Say within yourself, I am already the person I choose to be. Over time, this new assumption becomes dominant, and when it does, the world must conform. For the outer world has no choice but to reflect the state you consistently occupy. Persistence is the bridge between imagination and reality. Finally, we arrive at the most important step. You must live from the state of wealth, not someday, now. This does not mean reckless spending or pretending to possess money you do not have. It means carrying the inner feeling of abundance in every aspect of your life. Walk through your day with quiet confidence. Make decisions from a place of sufficiency rather than fear. Appreciate what you already have, knowing it is part of a greater flow of prosperity. When you think of the future, imagine expansion rather than limitation. This inner attitude transforms everything. For when you live as though wealth is natural to you, the world begins to treat you accordingly. Ideas come more easily, confidence grows stronger, and circumstances gradually shift in ways that support your assumption. You begin to notice that money appears through unexpected channels. Opportunities arrive at just the right moment. What once felt difficult begins to feel effortless. And eventually you realize something profound. You did not chase wealth. You became the person who naturally experiences it. That is the secret. You are not here to struggle endlessly for prosperity. You are here to discover the creative power within your own consciousness. And when you accept that power, when you assume the identity of wealth and persist in that assumption, the world will faithfully mirror it. For imagination creates reality, and the wealth you seek has always been waiting for you to claim it.